भारतीय राजनीति के कुछ महत्वपूर्ण प्रश्नों। Preamble and evolution of Indian Constitution। 1. Who is the person fondly known as the chief architect of the Indian Constitution? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. 2. First attempt in world to constitute a constituent assembly to frame a constitution was made by America. 3. The first attempt by Indians to write a constitution to India was done by a committee headed by Motilal Nehru, which is known as Nehru Report. 4. The idea of the Constitution of India was flashed for the first time by M. N. Roy. 5. The plan of setting up of a constituent assembly to draw up the future constitution for India was given by the Cabinet Mission Plan. 6. The members of the Constituent Assembly were elected by provincial assemblies. 7. Which of the following word was added into the preamble of the Constitution by the 42nd Amendment Act, 1976? Socialist. 8. From which constitution was a concept of a 5-year plan borrowed into our constitution? USSR. No. The procedure of amendment to the constitution is borrowed from the Constitution of South Africa. Thus, which country is the best example for the federal and unitary governments? America and Britain. 11. Which of the following is not a democratic institution of the Rig Vedic era? Grammar. 12. During medieval India, which kings first established local self-government? Cholas. 13. The East India Company was established in the year 1600. 14. Which charter empowered the British governors of presidencies to make bylaws, rules, regulations in conformity with the British laws, Charter of 1726. 15. Who started dual government in Bengal? Robert Clive. 16. Who is the first Governor-General of Bengal? Warren Hastings. 17. Which is the first written document in the constitutional history of India? The Regulating Act, 1773. 18. Which act created for the first time in India, Government of India? Charter Act of 1833. 19. Which act created for the first, the Supreme Court? The Regulating Act, 1773. 20. First Law Commission was appointed in India for codification of laws under the chairmanship of Lord Macaulay. 21. Which act made the beginning of a parliamentary system in India? Charter Act of 1853. 22. Under which of the following act, the Crown of England took the affairs of the Government of India into its own hands? Government of India Act, 1858. 23. The Governor-General of India was also the representative of British Crown to princely states in India and hence was known as the Viceroy of India. 24. Which act for the first time gave an opportunity for Indians to enter into the sphere of legislature? Indian Councils Act, 1861. 25. Which act made the beginning of electoral system in India? Government of India Act, 1858. 26. Which of the following act made the Indian legislature bicameral for the first time? Government of India Act, 1919. 27. The famous Dandi March led by Gandhiji was against salt tax. 28. Which proposal was referred as post-dated check? The Cripps proposal. 29. Indian National Congress started Quit India movement after the failure of Cripps mission. 30. Gandhiji gave a call to all Indians, do or die, which is popularly known as Quit India movement. 31. Which plan rejected the demand for the independent Pakistan? Cabinet Mission Plan. 32. Partition of British India into two independent nations, India and Pakistan, was done according to Mountbatten Plan. 33. The federal features of the Indian government was introduced by the Government of India Act, 1935. 34. Which feature was borrowed by the Indian Constitution from the British Constitution? Law-making procedure, parliamentary system of government, rule of law. 35. The Constitution supports rule of law. 36. In Britain, Parliament is supreme, accordingly which among the following is supreme? In India, Constitution. 37. The Government of India Act 1935 provided for establishment of federal court. Daiki et Center, provincial autonomy. 38. The Act of 1935 abolished Daiki in the provinces. 39. The Constitution of India was enacted by a Constituent Assembly set up under the Cabinet Mission Plan, 1946. 40. The Constituent Assembly of India was created as per the proposal of Cabinet Mission. 41. In which year did the Cripps Mission come to India? 1942. 42. The Constituent Assembly set up under the Cabinet Mission Plan had a strength of 389. 43. The strength of the Constituent Assembly, after the withdrawal of the Muslim League, was reduced to 299. 44. How many committees were set up by the Constituent Assembly for framing the Constitution? 13. 45. Who of the following acted as the constitutional advisor to the Constituent Assembly? B. N. Rao. 46. Demand for a constitution, framed by a Constituent Assembly was made by Gandhiji. 47. The idea of a Constituent Assembly to frame a constitution for India was first mooted by Swaraj Party in 1928. 48. Who started with presentation of the Objective Resolution on the 22nd of January 1947? Jawaharlal Nehru. 49. When was the Objective Resolution moved and adopted? The 13th of December 1946 and the 22nd of January 1947. 50. The members of the Constituent Assembly were elected by provincial assemblies. Like, share, and subscribe for more such content.